Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in my earlier video I explained how to charge a weak battery from the inverter. So this kind of inverter you can use. This kind of inverters are available in your house, most of the houses. This is a portable inverter, remember, not the huge one. It is a portable inverter. So this battery was weak because I was not started my bike Classic 350 since from 1 month. So the charge had gone down, so I was unable to start my Classic 350. So that's why I was in a worry what to do. So I removed this battery from my Classic 350, and I brought it to the house and I charged with the help of this. So here also one battery is there. This is the inverter battery. These are the two terminals to be connected to the battery. I connected these two terminals to this bike battery and charged it, and now I can start my Classic 350. Suppose your battery is too weak, what to do? Means it may not reach 13 volt. Actually, in full charge condition it should give some more than 12 volt or 13 volt it should give, then only the Classic 350 will start. So what happens, because self start require a heavy current, high voltage, and now this battery, if this battery is weak, even though you are charging it, it may not reach 13 volt, even it may not reach 12 volt. It may stop at a 10 volt, let us say. It may stop at a 10 volt or 10.5 volt, maximum by 11 volt. So if it goes down below 12 volt, the bikes will not start. You have to struggle. Self start. I am talking about self start. So when it is around 10 volt, 11 volt, you can't start your bike. Then what to do? You have to replace a newer battery, or you have to give this battery for the service. They will remove the cap and put some acid, then recharge it. One option, but that will not go for longer time. And another option here I am telling you that we can make use of the capacitors, DC capacitors, which can be connected in parallel to this battery to boost the voltage level of this battery. So for that, now you can see, for that I have purchased the capacitors from Amazon. These are the capacitors, heavy duty capacitors I have purchased. You can see here. So these are the electrolytic capacitors or DC capacitors. Two types of capacitors are there. One is the AC capacitor or non-electrolytic capacitor. Another one is the DC capacitor or electrolyte capacitor. So for electrolyte capacitor, the two terminals are important. They are distinguishable. So you can see here, two terminals are there. This is terminal 1, terminal 2, and you can look at the length. You can see here, you can look at the length of this capacitor. One is bigger and one is longer. This terminal is small and this terminal is bigger. So this is the indication of positive and negative electrodes. So here negative sign is shown here. So this towards this side, this smaller or shorter terminal is connected, and this is longer one is the positive terminal, which is not shown here on the body of the capacitor. So only negative terminal is shown here. Suppose if this negative symbol is also not there, this white strip is also not there, what we have to do, we have to identify the positive and negative terminals with the by looking at the length of these two, at the length of these two terminals. You can see here, one is longer, another one is shorter, and this longer one is always a positive terminal, and the smaller one is always a negative terminal. So many people have created videos on this fact, boosting of your battery with the help of DC capacitors. So for that purpose I have purchased all this, but all these are not required, just I need one or two. So how to connect these DC capacitors to this battery? So you can see here, that is very important. So you can look here, this is the positive terminal of the battery, bike battery. This is the negative terminal of the bike battery. So this capacitor should be connected like this. You can see here. So this is the positive terminal of the capacitor. This is the negative terminal of the capacitor. So positive terminal of the capacitor should go to positive of the battery, and negative terminal of the capacitor should go to negative of the battery. So you can connect one capacitor, you solder the two wires to this lead and this tail, short wires, and connect those two wires, one to positive terminal and negative terminal of the battery. So now this capacitor is parallelly connected to this battery. This is called as the parallel connection. So when the batteries are connected in parallel mode, the voltage level will be same. Only the current goes up, the current goes high. So that is the technique. That is the simple technique how you can connect. So these two capacitors, you can look here what kind of capacitors you need. Its value is important. It is called as the capacitance. It's called as the capacitance of a capacitor. So they are written 25 volt. That is the voltage rating of this capacitor. So voltage rating of this capacitor is 25 volt, and the capacitance value is 4700 microfarad. So 4700 is the value. Mu f micro, that is the unit of the capacitance, microfarad. It is read as the microfarad. So this capacitor is having 4700 microfarad capacitance value and voltage rating of 25 volts. Now I will connect one capacitor in parallel to this battery. This will lead to lot of boost to your battery. So it is a high voltage rating capacitor. It can go up to 25 volt, but what happens? The output of this inverter or the output voltage or the output voltage generated by the regulator present in the bike is 13 volt. So that is why these batteries are charged to a 13 volt. Voltage of the battery can go up to 13 volt. So this capacitor is having a voltage rating. This capacitor is having voltage rating of 25 volt. Question comes here whether 25 volt is developed between the two terminal of this capacitor. No. What is the maximum voltage rating of the battery? What is output of the bike is there? To that level, this capacitor will be charged. For example, this inverter is there, CFL inverter. These are the two output terminals. These are the two output terminals connected to the battery. At the output of this circuit, which is inverter module, here only up to 13 voltage is comes out as a DC voltage. Only 13 volt of DC voltage is coming out. So this battery, if it is good, it can go up to 13 volt charging. If it is a normal battery, only 12 volt, up to 12 volt, this battery get a charge. It can get a charged. So that is why to the output level of the inverter circuit or the output level of the bike, what is that, bike rectifier. Bikes have the rectifier circuit, so that rectifier produces there also around 13 volt or 14 volt. So this capacitor charges to that level only. It can goes up to 13 volt or 14 volt. But if this battery is weak, it will stop at 11 volt. Now what happens? These two capacitors are connected in parallel. When the cells or batteries are connected in parallel, voltage will be common. So that is why this capacitor is at higher voltage, 13 or 14 voltage, but this will be at 11 volt. So we are getting average of some 12.5 or 13 volt. So in this way, the capacitor, when it is connected parallel to a battery, the voltage level is boosted up. So that helps in starting of the bikes easily. Bikes gets started very easily. If you want to improve this booster level further, you can take one more capacitor. So it is also having the same rating value like this. So it is positive, it is negative, and this should also be connected in parallel with the earlier capacitor. So now I have kept these two capacitors here. So this is the positive, this is the positive, this is the negative, this is the negative. These two should be shorted like this. You can solder it or you can connect them with the help of wire, and a wire should be connected to the common point of this positive and negative. So that should go to the positive and negative of the battery. Now you have connected two capacitors to this battery. and boosting level will further increases and result will be more good. So this is the very simple technique, and these capacitors are very cheap. I have purchased some 10 capacitors for just some 250 or something like that. So that means one capacitor will cost just some 20-25 rupees. So in just in 50 rupees you can start your bike with the help of same old or weak battery. So everyone can do it. You can save your money. Otherwise batteries are very costly. So this technique, with the help of this technique, you can further extend the life of this battery by 1 year or 1.5 year. So after that it may further become too weak. At that time you have to give it for the servicing. But with the technique of these capacitors, you can extend the life of a battery by minimum 1 year or 1.5 year. So this is what I am doing. So now I am going to take two wires, and I am going to solder these two, and I will connect these two capacitor to the battery. Then I will connect this battery to the bike. So this is how you can get it done. Thanks for listening.